NCRP Productions presents Unhallowed Metropolis, Secrets in the Sands, Episode 62. Welcome back to Unhallowed Metropolis, Secrets in the Sands. This is Barry, your Game Master. Let's get everyone introduced and let's get started.
Hi, I'm Jill, and I'm playing Raya the Mourner.
Hi, this is Matt, and I'm playing Ayden Samir Carter.
Hello, I'm Michael. I'm playing Dr. Everett Wolf, the doctor specializing in alchemy and chemistry.
Hi, it's Sequoia, and I'm running Frankie the Undertaker.
Hey everybody, it's Pedro. I'm running Dr. Desmond, Wright, the doctor.
All right, so for us, it's been a few weeks in the real world as we play catch-up here. Last session, we had a big discussion between the doctors. Again, issues. Dr. Wright, you had shot Dr. Wolf.
What? What?
He made a pretty solid retort, that's for sure.
The idea being that the progress for Dr. Wolf to move through to his final portion of his visions, which Michael explained to us again in the last game, was the combination of these happenstances plus a green light, both of which were put in play for you guys.
Yeah.
So the end result was Dr. Wolf is out. And it's getting cold in the evenings again. Fire has been built up. You have Dr. Wolf in the tent. You have a number of the other people in the tent, including the Bedouins. And as the rest of you are getting ready to go to bed, it's been a fire going. It's dark outside. So, Dr. Wright, you went out to have Billings come back in because you noticed that you had not seen him. He and Zosser come back in. And as you're talking to him as you come in, Malcolm, who is our leader from Novus Day that has been in talking with you, trying to get the group to give him the stones so he can end the reign of the Golden King in France, he overhears you and he says, "Arthur?" And Billings looks at him clearly and says, "Malcolm?" That's where we ended last session. So,
What?
I'm assuming that everyone is, other than Dr. Wolf, is actually out around the fire as he comes in. Does anyone think they were anywhere else?
Well, I'm with
No.
Billings,
But as you're coming in as well.
Yeah.
I was messed up, so I was probably...
So you're probably in the tent as well? Okay. So then for the three of you, so Arthur puts out his hand and walks up to this guy who's been mind controlling you guys and brought in people and fought you and has been desperately trying to get you to give him the stone. Billings walks up to him with his hand outreached, and go ahead and give me a psychology roll, Dr. Wright. Walks up and shakes his hand. You guys can see that there's a connection there. There's definitely a camaraderie or joviality between the two of them.
If you guys want me to re-roll, I will, but otherwise it's a 9.
Do you care that much? You probably would care. I'm not gonna play with
Actually, I'll scrutinize. Yeah, you know, you made a good point for me. That sounds fair. All right, I'll use one of my re-rolls. Oh my god, so the exact opposite. So that's 21. Wait, no, 20.
So something that's been going on for you since you realized that Arthur was something else, again, you believe it is a Mercurial, you've been watching as he is disaffected or unaffected by a lot of the social cues that are around him, a lot of the emotions that would normally be around him. He seems bright. He seems very focused. As he walks over, he is engaging. Looks like the Billings that you've known.
Arthur, well, you know Mr. Malcolm?
Oh, absolutely. Malcolm has, well, I don't remember the last time we met. Malcolm says it was Prussia. It was less than a year ago. And Arthur says, yes, that's right. It was. Absolutely. Yes, well, so how have you been carrying on? And they begin talking unless somebody interrupts them. Malcolm will explain to him that he was in Prussia, the group that he is traveling with. And Arthur does not seem to have any issue in any way that he cannot see his face. Like for the rest of you, you've asked him, are you a man under there? You know, what's going on with the mask thing? Arthur doesn't say a word, just is talking straight away at him as if he was talking with a friend in a pub. But Malcolm will go on to explain that he was in Prussia for a time. They were getting some of the things they were going to need on this trip. He gathered a few fellows, and that's the group that's down here. And then it starts asking Arthur questions like, what are you doing down here? And Arthur goes in, again, you guys can stop at any point, but Arthur goes in to explain that you're down here, that this was a salient trip down here to see the extent of what they could do with the airship, The next expectation is to go back to Prussia and then to London to begin services. And Malcolm turns to Raya and says, "So, this is the airship. It's Arthur's airship?
Yes.
Wonderful." And now he begins talking to Arthur about the airship. He says, "Well, on your way back, do you think you could see your way through to making a stop in France?" And Arthur says, "What? I can't see any reason why not."
So I've kind of absolved myself of the whole situation, what we're doing with them. But what was the general consent of what they chose to do? Because I haven't heard anything whether we're giving them the stones or not, right?
Raya, would you like to update us on that? Because I'm not 100% sure we have made a decision yet.
We're not giving them the stones. We're accompanying them to France. After we assist them with their problem with the stones, then we'll take the stones on to London.
Is that Jill telling Pedro, or is that Raya telling Dr. Wright? Because that's important.
Raya telling Dr. Wright.
I was not asking, right? I was trying to
You
gather.
and Pedro were asking.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that is
okay.
Jill telling Pedro,
Yeah.
which is good.
Because
there would be
okay.
a different response if...
Yeah.
I only have one slight thing that I want to add is that they think they still want to try to find the dais before we
Yes.
Yeah,
go.
we
Yes.
do need to find
That's
the
whatever.
days.
That is still something as well that everyone's doing.
So then, I mean, honestly, I'm just watching and listening. Because
Okay? So
if-
no one's interrupting them.
If he tries to screw me out of my shares of this company anyway, I'm going to interrupt him.
The shares of the company that you don't officially have yet, that you were never promised.
shoot
to
What are
him
you
get.
talking about? He's always had the shares of the...
Shoot
So-
him in the head and then
so-
forge that will.
Malcolm and Arthur will continue talking like old friends for a while, discussing a lot about what Arthur was doing in Prussia to get this set up. Apparently, as far as you guys are listening, it looks like Malcolm may have been somebody who was in some fashion involved in negotiation or possibly the meetings. You're not really certain because they are talking so familiar. They're leaving things out that you guys have to assume that they just simply know. At this point, you've got the vast majority of the people from your group in the tent, and the two remaining Novus Dei that are not Malcolm laying down by the fire and probably out. Frankie,
How did Cal and Marood look?
Cal watches everything and listens. Marood is a sentinel,
Yeah.
which you assume Marood takes in everything.
Yeah, I'm just wondering because they're very wary
Yep,
of
wary, without a doubt.
and so we just found out that they were in Prussia when we were as well, correct?
That's correct. That's what you should have figured out from what was said.
And Billings met up with them. And
Yes.
it's been long enough. I don't remember if who was with him or not, or if anybody even was.
So when you guys got ready to leave, you got together with Billings and Mailing. There was a Prussian officer that was trying to get you guys out onto the airship so that you could get down here, while there was an attack by the anarchists within Prussia.
Yeah.
So it was a speed thing. But Arthur and Mei Ling, unlike now since you have traveled in group, Arthur and Mei Ling and also Cal and Marood did not travel around Prussia specifically with you. They were pretty much brought on at the last minute, which is also true for the Prussian crew.
All right. I mean, Frankie's not going to say anything. He's just thinking really hard.
Sure.
This is an OOC question because I wasn't part of the game at the very, very, very beginning when this
Right.
all started. When Billings is saying, oh yeah, we met about a year ago, is that about the timeline when they had the very first airship adventure? Or
No, this is the most recent time.
Okay.
They may have met then, but that's not what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And yeah, right. And since you're not there, that's Michael asking.
Yeah.
Where is Dr. Wolf?
You brought Dr. Wolf inside the tent. It is getting cold again in the evenings. Very, very cold. Not like it's been in some of the places you've been. And you decided to bring him in for healing.
Actually, if they're not keeping me away from him, I'll be near Dr. Wolf just tending to him.
All right, so you leave the fire. So around the fire presently are Malcolm, Arthur, Frankie, and Ryan. And as far as I know, and Cal and Marood. And as far as I know, that is it.
So as Malcolm and Billings are visiting, I'm gonna go sit near Frankie and Cal and Marood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say to you guys, so just so that we have a consensus, I have no intention to give them the stone.
Yeah. So the plan is just to go with them?
Yeah.
And
I think that we need to help them. I think that if this king and this prophecy are what they say they are, then this could be a big problem for us, not just for the people in France. It's going to make its way to our doorstep, so we might as well take advantage of that opportunity to prevent it from becoming a problem for us. And then once we're done helping them, then we can take the stones on to London. But I have no intention of giving them the stones, and if anybody doesn't want to go to France, I completely understand, and we can arrange other passage for anyone who doesn't want to go.
As if on cue, Arthur is going to turn to the group, the four of you, which I don't see you guys conspiratorially in a four, huddle. And he'll say, well, so Malcolm has asked me, and I'm very curious, who's got the stone? This stone he speaks of. And he's looking at the four of you. Does anyone say anything to him?
if Raya doesn't, Frankie will.
Malcolm knows that I have the stone.
Well, why don't we give it to him? I mean, he's explained to me the issues. It sounds horrifying.
Well, we're going to accompany them to France, and we're going to help him solve his problem. And then we're going to take the stone on to London when he's done.
If I understand it, and Malcolm, please correct me if I'm wrong, if I understand, we would be traveling on foot. By the way, you are hearing Billings clearly say, we, like he's coming. We would be traveling on foot. That means that, well, at least as far as I understand, the airship would dock in one of the port cities and we would head in.
That's what we were discussing, yes.
Wouldn't it be better for us to give the stone to Malcolm and his kind and generous people and let them take the stone in, do what they need to do, and then come out of that war-torn, horrifying place and give us the stones to finish our job? I mean, Grayling has waited for a while now. I don't see the reason why he would be willing to wait a little longer. And Malcolm will say, there is the consideration of the dais. We still need to find that.
We do still need to find the dais.
I'm being screwed over right now. Senses are tingling very.
Well, you can hear from within the tent where you are with Dr. Wolf, you can hear the vast majority of what's being said outside. They're not trying to be quiet, and other than the cracking of the fire, there's no other noises. There is one other noise. There's the gentle pelting of the wind into the tent.
I know you said cracking, but it sounded like you said crapping the fire.
Crapping out ash.
So when you guys when I hear Billings say, why don't we just give them the stone, I've absolved myself of this situation, but you'll hear me from the freaking tent as I hear this BS happening.
Frankie will pipe up. He'll say, Mr. Billings, it wouldn't be gentlemanly to make them walk both ways.
You'll also forgive me, Master Billings and that I'm not the trusting sort anymore.
I understand. I don't see a reason why we can't walk with them in. I thought it would be easier. Yes. And he looks at Malcolm. He says, "So this will work for you." For those of you that are watching Malcolm doesn't look completely like he's agreeing with what he's saying, but he says, "Yes. Walking in with us is going to be fine. It's going to be a long trek." And now he is directly looking at the four of you. It's going to be a long trek, and it won't be easy.
Master Billings, do you think that you're up to accompanying us? You can always take the airship and meet us at another port.
And he looks at Malcolm, and he looks at you guys, and he says, "Oh, well, I mean, if Malcolm can do it, I certainly can. I rode ponies longer than he did, and I was better at it." And Malcolm looks at him and says, "You were," but is looking at you guys. You're not sure, again, you're not certain that he's saying what he's thinking.
You guys are getting fleeced out there, and I'm in here can't say nothing.
Master Billings, we're concerned only for your safety.
Oh, I appreciate that, absolutely. You know, it shouldn't be an issue. I think Mei Ling and I will be fine on the trip.
You do know Mei Ling isn't with us anymore, right?
And you'll see Malcolm is looking right at you, and he says, "Truly?"
Yes, she was murdered.
And Malcolm, for the first time through those slits, the eyes look surprised.
Do I hear her
Yes,
say murdered?
without a doubt. Again, you can hear the crackling of the fire. And
I turn and I want to roll a shadowing roll.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be seen.
This is just like,
are you going to melt into the sleeping bag with...
please fail, so you can just be, it's like,
re-rolling.
your face is like obviously staring out.
Yeah, so it's only a 9.
Okay.
Malcolm.
You're
All right,
in the middle of the desert.
So
Where the
Dr.
fuck
Wright
are you
kinda
going to
falls
go?
out of the tent? Are you trying to hide your slip?
What I was imagining is I wanted to be to one side of the flap inside and kind of peering out with my hand on my gun.
Okay.
So my hand would, I imagine, be hidden, but anybody who looks my
So
direction...
you'll stumble as you
Yeah.
don't have the hand to steady you. You end up putting that hand down, and a couple of people will look at you. Cal will. Maru definitely will. Malcolm will as well. But then...
He's like, if I don't move at all, they'll lose track of me.
Anybody mentions anything, I will kill you.
Do I see him do this?
Well, you'll hear it, and yeah, if you know, you'll notice the people are looking at the tent. If you look over, yeah, you'll see him straightening himself up and peeling back into the tent.
And then Malcolm goes,
Dr.
She
Wright,
was
would
my
you
dog.
care to explain what happened to Mei Ling?
Okay, so you hear that from outside.
I have 6 bullets here. I have 6 bullets in this one.
Black
2 in my tiny Derringer.
Black Ops.
And this handheld nuke. No, okay.
That should be plenty to put Wolf down.
I will peek my head out. I want my hand on my gun, but
Sure.
I'll peek my head out and then say, well, I would, but you would just call me a liar. So I don't know if there's a point to it.
Well, you are correct. I would call you a liar.
Malcolm, you see. No, I will go back and tend to Dr. Wolf. Malcolm, take whatever story she tells you with a grain of salt. You know my reputation. And I'll flap and then go in. I definitely make it go a little bit extra in the wind.
So again, for those of you watching Malcolm, the eyes make an odd look, and he looks back at Arthur. He says, "And Arthur, I murdered? I'm speechless. I'm so sorry." And Billings says, "It's okay. It's okay. I've chosen to forgive Dr. Wright for it." And Malcolm again kind of looks at the tent and looks at Arthur and says, "Oh, okay. I mean, it's your choice. I don't know if I could be so forgiving. You once again are the better man." And Billings says, "Of course, since Oxford."
Oh no.
1 year from, it's like you cut 1 year from now and Billings is in a giant robot just destroying the city. And the voice is all, "Where are you, Dr. Light? Your reckoning is at hand."
Oh boy.
It's getting very late, and as soon as we can rouse Ayden to talk to him about where the dais could possibly be, we're going to need to start looking for that. I suggest we all get some sleep. I'll take first watch. Frankie, would you like to take second?
Sure.
Malcolm will look at you and say, "Do you need more, or will the two of you be sufficient?"
We're good.
We're good.
Very good. And he will again shake Arthur's hand, bid him good night, tell him I await more catching up in the morning, and he will move over to the two of the Nova Stay that were laying down near him, and he will lay down there as well. They're in some kind of a bedroll, something that seems to hold them from the cold. Are the rest of you going into the tent except for Raya?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Frankie, when you come out, as you'll look around, Malcolm's sleeping rack or sleeping rook is on the other side of where it was when you went to bed. Other than that, you can see his head clearly there laying down.
Where? So,
He is farther away from the fire. That's the only real difference.
okay. What about the other? There's 2 more?
There's 2 more, and they don't seem to have moved. I mean, their bodies probably have, but the bed rolls have not moved.
Is anybody like snoring extra loud near the fire?
Not specifically. I mean, I'm sure throughout the night,
Well, yeah, the
one
night
or another of
terrors.
them will, but
Cacophony of night terror.
that's from within the tent.
Okay, show of hands, how many players have night terrors?
Right. Yeah.
I think I'm like the only one who doesn't.
I don't know that Ayden does.
Do you have night terror?
I'm checking it.
Would you like some?
You
No,
will.
I have enough night terrors just being along with you guys.
I would imagine you would have developed that by now.
If you don't have it, I'm really surprised.
No, I don't have it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Frankie, go ahead and give me a wits perception.
Okie dokie.
It is probably the coldest part of the night, and you will wear some kind of a wrap cover, that kind of thing, to hold in the heat. Probably will keep you closer to the fire.
20.
Okay. With a 20, you will see probably an hour and a half after you've started your watch, Malcolm will get up from where he's at. He will stretch, shake himself off, and he will walk away from the fire.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to specifically follow him because I'm just assuming he's going to the bathroom. So, I mean, but if he's gone for more than
About 6 minutes later,
yeah.
he walks back from a different direction, but comes back, looks over at you, nods once.
And I'll say, where were you?
I was relieving myself. We find that it's best to not do it directly around the campfire. Predators, the horses, our own fine senses. And he's saying this as he's laying back down and rolling into the sack.
Okay, I won't say anything else.
So, as you are starting to get that first line of light, go ahead and give me a wits perception roll again.
22.
22. Malcolm gets up, and moments later, one of the Novus Dei that was laying down gets up. Malcolm gets up, stretches, and walks in a similar direction to the way he did last time. The other Novus Dei gets up moments later, does not get up anywhere near as quickly. Very slow, very creaky, is scratching at his body, you can hear him as he's moving his legs, the crack.
They sleep in their masks.
They sleep in their masks. Yep. He cracks. He actually puts his finger into one of the eye sockets. You're not assuming he's sticking his finger in his eye. He's probably scratching something around his nose. But he sticks his finger in there, and then very almost sleepwalker-like, but he's done too much for you to think he's sleepwalking. He walks very much in a different direction from the way Malcolm went. You're not even sure that he saw Malcolm go. But he steps over Malcolm's sleeping sack and then heads off.
I don't really want to see people peeing, so... Frankie, I'm trying to think if he's paranoid enough, though.
Is he paranoid? That's
I think
a good
he's
question.
paranoid enough. Is there so I know we were up on a hill.
You're on a rise. You're on a rise, absolutely.
Did they go down or did they go back?
At the amount of time that Malcolm went out, he almost assuredly, he walked somewhere and then walked back. He almost assuredly went down from the rise.
I'm gonna go over to the edge of the rise.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is go see in the direction they went, which means cross the fire, go past them. Okay, go ahead and give me a wits perception roll. Raya, I need you to give me a wits perception roll. You will subtract 3 from that total.
16.
So as you go out, you do see one person. You're guessing not Malcolm, just based on the way the person is, I'm going to use the word shambling as opposed to walking. Whoever it was just kind of seems to be doing it by rote.
22.
22. And that's with the minus.
Uh-huh.
It seems to be kind of...
And the minus is from my wounds.
Gotcha. You do not see Malcolm or anyone that you think is Malcolm. The one who you see for the moment, I don't know if you're going to immediately go try and find Malcolm.
Yeah, if I register that dude as just the second person
You're
who got
almost on it. You would stake things on it.
Okay,
Maybe
yeah.
not your life, but...
I mean, yeah, I would keep looking for Malcolm.
Okay.
Not to the point of going off the
like going
ridge.
panic.
Yeah.
Right. So go ahead and give me a wits perception roll again. And Raya, you wake up. You do not know why you're awake. Your body functions would wake you normally. You feel it, but not so much so that it should have woken you. You're not sure what it is. You have an odd feeling of cold around you. You know, maybe you had an arm sleeping outside the bag, something like that. That kind of just, not your whole body, but one area.
I
and
checked
the area
my
is on your
pocket for
hip.
the stone.
It's there.
15.
Okay.
All right. So as you're moving around, kind of looking around, you'll hear a snort coming from the camels. And as you walk that way, Malcolm's coming back out of there, and as you're walking to and he's walking from, he says, "Frankie, good morning," and continues walking back to his sleeping area.
So I believe he was in the camels.
In the camels and his horses. Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to get up and go sit out by the fire with
Okay.
Frankie.
So you come out. So if you come out at that point, you will see Malcolm kneeling down, or you're guessing it's Malcolm kneeling down and rolling back into his sleeping. You'll notice one of the three is not there, one of the other two, and roughly a minute later, he kind of comes in. Malcolm was very focused climbing in. This one is just tottering like he's still half asleep, and they both roll in. And unless you guys do anything, the sun will be up, and they will all wake up somewhat normal a few hours later.
I'll wake up at a normal time.
I will speak with Raya.
I just had a horrible idea. Like, there's no clue. Like, Malcolm, as far as I know, he could be like some zombie lord, which is why he wears the armor. And all the troops are zombies, which is why they were so hard to put down.
I thought
Or
about
putting
that.
it down.
Well, their eyes look normal. I remember
Their
asking
eyes look
that
normal.
question.
You did ask that.
Okay. I didn't hear that
fit
part.
back into
So.
place. In fact, let me give you a lecture on how.
When they could have like, I don't know, little mirrors, and it's just my own eyes.
Other problem is the reaction to the mold. So
Yeah,
That's true.
So they're really bad zombies, okay? But
they're only mostly dead.
I'm wondering if he had something to do with Billings coming back, because I remember I think when Billings described what happened to me, he said that there was somebody with Mei Ling. Like
When he was talking about himself?
Yeah.
He did say there was somebody.
And he
with
couldn't really describe the person from
Right.
what I remembered, but I wouldn't know the face anyway, even if he did. So.
Correct.
But my mind's kind of pinging to that, especially since he feels so comfortable near him, and he hasn't done this since like Mei Ling.
Right. Well, it's less about comfort because he talks comfortably. It's more about focus.
That's what I'm saying. He's
Yeah.
different with
Yes.
this person, which
And-
means a comfort.
And
in
yes,
him.
the only other person recently that he's been that way with was McMelee.
Okay.
Cogent.
So I'm suspicious as well.
So everybody is getting up.
So you were gonna.
Yeah, I'll just float the idea to Raya, like, should we go through the packs on their horses? See if there's any other evidence or maps that they're not showing us.
Do you think it would make a difference?
It could. I mean, I don't think that it will be to your liking, but I feel that I should say it. If we wait to let them help us find the dais, we could kill them at that point. Take our stuff back to Grayling, and then give it to France. I mean, if Billing has connections to these people, I mean, he could surely pass along the stone and the dais after we're done with it.
We could.
I just think going into their territory with us, with this, I mean, this has gone, I think poorly is an understatement.
It is. You don't have to go.
It's not about the going, it's about, it would be really frustrating to go to France and just be killed. Or to help find the dais and then just be killed.
You can take Wolf and Wright and take them back to London.
It's not about the location, it's about where the stones are. It's not so much about where we're going, it's why them first.
That is a very good point. Why them first?
Yeah, I just think we could probably get the stones and the dais back to France if we needed to.
Okay, so I have a new theory. What if Malcolm is like Mercurial? Maybe he's even Billings, and all the other guys are Billings?
It's
like
nothing but
clones.
just billing clones.
Right, and he's figured
Far
out
as
some.
the eye can see.
And he's figured out some way to transfer himself from conscious to conscious. That's why they keep wearing the mask.
Oh my god. What if all of France is just Billings?
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm being serious here. So I'm not like, maybe that's like how they do stuff. Is so maybe Mei Ling was part of their organization, like Illuminati-esque organization. Because I'm trying to figure out why they wear the mask all the time.
You're picturing the scene from Justice League where like Lex Luthor takes off the Flash's mask and he's like, "Who are you?"
I don't even know who this is.
But the idea being like they keep the mask on so you can never know who it is. So it's like ninjas and stuff. You get, even if the person dies, they're still there.
And they
type
did
of thing.
explain a little bit why they don't take the mask to you guys. So
Okay, I guess I missed that one. Part
yeah,
two,
so
sorry.
so basically they tell you that many of the people who are in Novus Dei are higher ranking people. They're the ones that could make a difference, so they're trying to make a difference. So I don't want to play it through as they're good guys. I'm just saying that that's the way they're kind of, and I'm not playing them as bad guys either. I want to be clear. I'm saying
bad
that
guys.
they feel like
Well,
they're in a
to be
position
fair,
do
we're kind
something
of the bad
and
guys,
things are
too.
going poorly,
Yeah.
so they are doing it. But if their faces were uncovered, it could affect them and their families.
Okay, never mind then. Sorry.
I like the idea of a Billings army though.
Well, I mean, it might not. it might not actually be Billings. It could be whoever's behind it, type of thing.
The Billings army.
Like,
dear.
so we know France has magic. I mean, they could have some spell to duplicate people real easy.
Totally.
And the whole idea of being like, you want to send an agent out. I mean, he could be anybody. He could have been Todd or something like that, and Mailing being like the actual operator or something.
Yeah, is Billings actually Billings? Maybe Billings is Malcolm. Maybe they're all Malcolms.
Right.
You kill one Billings and 3 more will take his place.
I just split like Hydra.
Yes.
Hail Billings.
No Billings.
Just a thought. Never mind. Sorry.
No problem. No.
No.
Thoughts should come up.
We need the theories. We're lost.
So, for the two of you, are you then going to do anything? Because I'll run it forward if not.
No, I think we're just debating.
No.
Okay.
Well, I have one question because Wolf is waking up and
Yep. So we've gone forward.
pain. How was the wound? I mean, I know I'm losing the wound
It
penalties,
was
but
serious.
yeah, it was serious.
It
It's
is now mild, right?
It's
No,
now down the flesh wound.
Yep.
I'm just asking more on like how does it look like it's healing because there's now a bullet hole that just went right through.
So it looks like it's healing normally for you,
like, okay, for a throw, but
or the way you were.
yeah. Wait, I'm sorry, I'm confused. The way I was as a human or as a
The way you were prior to coming to Egypt.
Okay, gotcha.
Throat style.
Throat style. Okay. But it's not like new flesh is there. It's like refurbishing like the burnt flesh or
Well, so
good
to be
question.
truthful with you, I don't really remember if we ever made a decision on how throats heal. Is it new flesh growing over old? Is it old flesh knitting? I don't
I think
know
it's
that we
just
made
like
that decision.
super fast normal healing, right?
Right. But whatever it is, that is what it's doing. No, if you're asking, is it healing the burn? It is not.
no. That I'm not surprised on. But like the one patch where it is, it's becoming new flesh.
It's knitting.
We
Yep.
should just peel you.
Yeah, we should just skin you.
Yeah.
Oh God, not again.
No, much worse. Okay, am I near him when he wakes up?
You are. It got me thinking you were talking about peeling flesh. You know that the square hasn't healed yet either.
Right.
Okay.
Damn.
There's
There goes the
it's
peeling.
weird. It's a lot of weird
Now
stuff.
we should peel it because obviously something changed.
Well,
Now everyone wants to cut into Dr. Wolf.
Let's just take another sample.
let's just. Well, if we're just. I mean, we don't think you've suffered enough for your good deeds. Well, if we're just gonna start.
Am I near him when he wakes
You
up?
are.
Okay. Oh, my boy, how are you feeling this morning? Wait, lean back. Let me take a look at the wound. And I see that it's healing like. Well. My boy, it looks like I've done it. I killed you with a bullet wound. No, look here. Have you seen it? And I'll like pull out a little pocket mirror and like angle it for you to see as you're laying back. You're knitting up, my boy.
So it did work,
Something did.
or something. At least it's still. It touches his face and stuff. It's all still. There's a pause as he takes it for a moment and goes and he puts his hand down as he's looking up and goes, right. No, I will thank you for taking care of me, but I am still very conflicted.
Oh, my boy. I don't think we'd be as good of friends as we are if you weren't.
There's a raised eyebrow at that one. But it's like the explain kind of look.
Just look at us. Out of everybody in our party, my boy, you're the only one I'd considered even close to my level. Why I probably would not admit it most places, you may surpass me in some areas. I am getting older. I'm not a fool. But despite the fact, and I'm just kind of like leaning back against this talking.
I'm gonna just
against
say,
the canvas.
since I've been there, I heard that.
Wham! It's just us. Despite the constant threat of, being killed by yourself, I find that we get in such lively debates and, well, it wouldn't be interesting if we had the same ideologies, my boy. Because as radical as you all think I am, I do listen to what you say. It's wrong a lot of the times, but I listen. And if you were all just yes men, well, who knows where we'd be? We wouldn't have helped the Bedouins, but who's to say we would be any better? I would say we'd probably be better. But you know what? We're here now, we can't go back. And if you don't want to, I'm not gonna push the situation. It's always good to have peers.
Callahan will move past you at slightly different times to leave the tent.
Oh,
The Bedouins will as well.
So Ayden was here, Marud and Cal were here. It's like,
shit.
it's just like both of you. I will tell you. Oh no.
Oh no.
Seems you are getting up in years, Doctor. You seem to be unperceptive of your surroundings. I'm just kidding.
You're delusional. Blood loss. Knife wound. So yes, I'm happy to take care of you and fix you up. Because if it makes you feel any better, out of anybody here, next to Frankie, I think you're the only one I'd even consider letting be worthy of dying by. And you know, there's not a lot of people I can count that list on.
Roll a psychology
And-
roll. All of this in
Yeah, I kind of want to roll psychology just to get a feeling of what the heck is he on. Just almost a degree of.
Mostly meth.
It's not the meth. No, I'm not gonna.
That is
I'm not
one
gonna
of
get.
the things that's kind of interesting for any of you that have an awareness. He hasn't since you left Cairo.
Good news, everybody. I've replaced my blood with methamphetamine.
I feel like he smoked out some Bedouins at some point.
Well, he's smoked quite a bit over the time,
But
even
not any
somewhere.
meth.
The hash,
I am not the one who knocks today.
the hookah.
He's been taking a lot of downers. But yeah, no, I mean, unfortunately, it didn't roll very well, so I'm not going to worry about it. So it's just like it's hard to scrutinize him. It's just like at this point, it's just like, yeah, this is kind of like going like this is kind of normal for Wright at the very least. I can't quite figure out exactly where all of it's coming from, or
You guys are
really.
the only ones in the tent, by the way.
And finally he takes a moment and he says, I'm not opposed to the fact that we may have different ideals. I think that's important for progress. I think that's important for the pursuit of knowledge. It's part of evolution. When things stagnate, new ideas, new things need to come forward. What I do have issue with, and it's something I struggle with myself, is the weight of the lives that we've taken. These hands were supposed to heal. These hands were supposed to nurture and, to the best of our abilities, even when all seemed lost, repair and give new life, if need be, cut away at a diseased limb so that the rest of the body may become whole. I have taken lives. Even if I wasn't aware of it or in my full, complete senses, I've taken them. And I don't remember the faces, or I don't know how many, but I carry that weight. The only thing I can do go forward is the fact that I can at least keep going forward to heal, so that I may pay for my sins. But right, when you killed Mei Ling, you said, it's like, in those moments where I was in pain and I was dying, well, I thought I was dying yesterday, I think I heard you saying something about the fact that you've never done anything without having thought it through. When you killed Mei Ling, did you think that through?
You know, what I'll say is this. It wasn't... Yeah, I'll just slump down a little bit. Perhaps there was some emotion to it, but the facts were still there. Things that I don't think you all have seen. Things that only I have seen. Things that led me to the answers, and when I saw that needle in your neck, after Mei Ling had come in, after we were trying to cure you, I almost said that wrong. Well, I got a little upset. I'm not infallible, Wolf. No, I'll say Dr. Wolf. And the thought of you not even being able to fulfill your last request, well, that felt a shame. But then I knew something was wrong, because why would she try to stop this? And then after everything we've done, and what she's done to me, you all might not believe me, I know there was some ill intent. And poor Billings, what happened to him? Have you figured it out yet?
He nods.
I figured it out on the hill the other day. We were all running. He said that his last memory, before it happened, was of a man and Mei Ling. Him coming out of a pool, then it got hazy. You, I'm sure, know how these things go with these creatures.
Nods.
You know what kind of people tend to create these creatures. Selfish ones. And you'll see, if you're looking at me, I'll get a kind of a far-off look. It's important to me, Wolf, that out of everyone here, you know I'm not crazy. You think it, I know you all do, but I'm not. Just a man who's lived a lot.
I don't think you're crazy, right? I think you're very good at justifying the reasons why you did what you did. But I still think you killed that woman in cold blood. And what I know now, what you are telling me is true, is that the reason she's dead is because of me. And that's another life I'm going to have to bear. Because I'm certain you won't be carrying it.
At a certain point, the weight does spill over, and it gets easier.
I hope it never does.
Well, I'm gonna go get us some food, my boy. I think it's about time. You stay here and rest. I'll be back. It was a good talk, Dr. Wolf. I hope there will be more.
As he leaves, I'm going to roll my melancholy to make sure I don't go into depression now that I have
And you're
this.
heading out?
Yeah.
I'm good.
So breakfast is Scop.
Yummy.
Exactly what you guys would expect.
I go and take a few hits of my hashies to make it taste good.
You bring it back in for Dr. Wolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Scott, do you sleep boysenberries?
So while you guys are out there sitting, it's fairly quiet. Arthur and
I'm asking
Malcolm.
questions.
What's that?
I got questions.
Okay. Arthur and Malcolm will be talking. What are the questions?
I'm talking to the lackeys of Malcolm.
Okay.
Do you guys know how to swim?
So the one of them speaks in a French accented English. Says, yes, I can swim. Pierre does not.
And when you swim, can you dive?
What an odd question. Yes, of course. I'm confused by it.
All the way to the bottom?
I'm certain there's a depth that I would not be able to return from.
Do you keep animals?
Okay, so at this point he is looking at you, but you see that he taps Malcolm on the shoulder. Do we keep animals? Well, we have the horses.
Smaller ones.
Like rats?
Yeah.
No. Why would someone in a plague-ridden world like this?
Why would you bring up rats?
It's a small animal.
Well-
You seem to be asking some and everyone else at the fire is hearing. It's not like Frankie's silent or
No.
quiet.
No, he's not.
And he says, "You seem to bring up such odd questions. Is there a purpose of this line?"
Just want to understand the bedfellows we keep.
Well, do you keep small animals?
No. Do you have any blemishes?
I think that's a question that is very personal, but he says, when I was younger, I did not do as well with a straight razor. I do have a few cuts along my jawline.
Are they strangely shaped?
He again looks, and this time directly looks at Malcolm, who's now looking at him listening, and Malcolm gives a single nod, and he looks at you and he says, "No, they are not strangely shaped. They are straight razor cuts."
Do you often sleep through the night?
And so he says, who speaks French at the fire? Anyone?
I think, no, Ayden,
But I'm
You're
not at the fire.
okay.
Oh, wait.
Well, you should be because everybody is up.
Did you go to the fire?
But
He's the only one who's still in the tent that I knew of.
No, I was in that tent too.
But are you still in the tent as everyone's
Yeah.
getting up? Okay, I apologize. Ayden was in there.
Well, you can probably hear, though.
He says something in French, which if you want to give me a wits perception roll.
I think we ascertain you can hear in the tent.
Yes, we have definitely decided
So
that.
14.
So yeah, you can kind of muffled hear somebody saying in French, "Do I have to keep answering this?"
Okay.
And Malcolm says something back, and he looks at you. He says, "I would ask you to get to the point." there's an end question. I do not fear the answer. Please, ask away.
I do not trust you to tell me the truth.
I understand. Do you think I would trust you?
No.
Exactly. This is a group of convenience. Yes? Am I saying that right?
Yes, you're saying that right.
Very good.
This is an uneasy truce.
He looks at Malcolm again, but then nods at Raya and says, yes. There is a purpose, though. There is a purpose for what we do. There is a greater purpose, and if I understand correctly, you're intending to aid us.
Yes.
And because of that, I will give you all that you need to succeed, is what he says.
So you're not going to answer the question.
He looks at you and just kind of bows and says, please, ask me the question again.
Do you regularly sleep through the night?
Most nights I sleep through unless I am awoken for some reason.
Well,
All
what's
right.
next, Frankie?
Those in our group are not known for their etiquette and social skills, myself included.
So he gives you a nod. He says, I appreciate it. I am endeavoring to be the best I can because you do not understand how bad it is in our mother country.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on there?
So he starts to regale you with it. Now, he is not going to tell you anything about magic or actual monsters. What he talks to you about is what the Golden King has instituted as far as taxation, ripping children from families, splitting families at a whim. Almost what the doctor would figure is like a Ubermensch genealogical pairing. Somebody, and this one specifically says, my wife was taken from me and paired off with a man that she did not love, and I don't think loved her either. And I had nothing to say or I would lose my life.
I'm just here sitting thinking like, you know, it sounds a lot like London, actually.
A little like London. But.
like there's some parallels to it, how crappy it is.
Yeah, he talks about the fact that the value of life is very small, even though he talks the king talks always of rebirth.
I'm trying to remember if I heard.
When's that pattern?
Trying to remember if I heard Malcolm say that there were beasts who walk the street, or if that was one of the bad things.
That's one of the things you have heard about it, not specifically what he said.
About the like the French apocalypse thing.
Huh?
Sorry, I don't remember. What
No, you're good. No, you're good.
It's
I get you.
Apocalypse.
So you know some information about it.
This is the best dressed apocalypse I've ever seen.
All right, I'm gonna get back to my scalp.
Okay. So Ayden, do you come out at any point?
Nah.
Okay. So you'll see Dr. Wright bring Dr. Wolf Scott.
Okay.
You don't have any food with you.
That's okay.
All right, so you just power through.
Yep.
Okay.
My character is just basically like it is out head right now.
If we need to find the dais, and Ayden is the one to help us with that, I'm gonna bring him some food and try and get him to come out of the tent.
Okay, so Raya comes in with food, with a block of Scott, basically.
This is all we have, unfortunately.
Okay.
Did you already? No. You want some Stitch? I have one vial of Stitch left.
What does Stitch do?
It'll help you heal up. How hard are you?
I am at a -2 to my chest.
Serious.
So, if I would have given that to him last night, which I think I would have, like,
I think you might have, yeah.
then it would help you heal. I think it will heal you one wound level or something.
All right.
It speeds up the convalescence at least.
Which I think you would, yeah.
Will you eat when Raya brings food to you?
Nah, I mean, if she stays there, I'll like thank her. I'm not like being an asshole, but I will probably just paw it around on the plate and then just kind of leave it there.
Ayden, we really do need your help.
I'll help you. Just leave me alone right now.
We need to find the dais.
It's probably a myth like everything else, but we're Where do you guys want to go next?
You're the only. We'd like you to take a look at the drawings that they have, and at our drawings again.
All right.
I'll even let you take a look at the stone again if you need to.
Yeah, bring their drawings here, and I have our drawings, and I'll see if anything comes of it.
Okay. You're the only one who has the knowledge to decipher what the dais might be.
All right.
So I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna go up to Malcolm, and I'm gonna say, Ayden is awake now.
Oh, good. Well,
And-
have him come out. We should start reviewing what we have and see if we can figure the next plan, the next space we're going.
He's not quite up to coming out of the tent yet.
But the light, it's much greater light out here. We don't have much of it before it will be burning.
He would rather examine the documents inside the tent.
He says, very good. And so he stands up and walks away towards where the camels are.
So you have a serious wound? Is
Yeah.
your highest? So it says here that when flesh wounds and serious wounds may be treated without a die roll. Treating one or more flesh wounds requires 15 minutes. Treating a character with one or more serious wounds takes 30 minutes. So I could have spent 30 minutes and wipe his level 2. I guess
To a level 1.
only. Yeah, no. Just it says just treat them. So it sounds like serious wounds afterward with care can be treated with medical care, but then like heavier wounds actually need healing time.
Well, so the thropes clear them in a day, so
Yeah.
you're treating it would not make
But-
it faster.
No.
There's still a certain amount of time for the wounds to take to heal, and that's in there as well. But I'm assuming that you can do treatment.
Yes.
That would be my guess.
Stitch.
Oh wait, hold up.
Yeah, it goes on the fact that Stitch really helps speed up
Oh,
the process.
are you talking
but-
with Stitch, not just your medicine roll?
No. I mean, with the medicine roll, it says I could just treat them, but I gotta see if treating them means something specific. Flesh serious wound will completely heal after 4 weeks, and a flesh wound would have completely healed after 2 weeks. All heal times are rolled. But is that receive daily medical? Let's see. Okay, it's shortened by 1/4 daily medical. Oh, okay. Oh,
So
so
3
I
weeks for
can
serious.
treat it, but it
Yeah.
means that that's me working on it. So I don't
Right.
need to roll to heal it. Oh, okay. So then, yeah, with a serious, that's 4 weeks, so we can heal that in a week. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Still serious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
for now.
you're still. Yeah, it's still. It
Yeah.
just means that I can treat you, so you're in the process of being treated. So I won't give you Stitch because it actually won't do anything for you.
I will. I know there's a lot of stuff going on,
Yeah.
and me and Pedro had it saying, but given the fact that Wolf is in the tent with him and is very used to his own melancholy, mind if I do a psychology? Well, I'll ask you, Matt. Do you mind if I do a psychology roll on you to see if I can't open a dialogue to see where the depression is and possibly try to help you work through it? Or okay.
So Malcolm is going to ask you, then we should go in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
That is a 16.
So basically, my character is just feeling that everywhere they've gone, it has been just led to death and destruction, or like false things, and like just going into that tube and going through all that danger to find out it was just mold. He's just like
Oh.
he feels like he's I would say like he's like having a break of the obsession, like, so he sees himself and he's seen like what he's become and turned into, and he's now just like at his end type of thing.
So there's a pause as Raya's probably left the tent as he's watching this interaction and playing with the food and stuff like that. And goes, you know how they say doctors are their own worst patients.
Yes, I'm familiar with this term.
Mainly because the main reason I bring that up is because where you are right now, I've found myself at many times, and despite the encouraging words of my manservant or my peers, when I'm hit those low points, it doesn't always fix it. It doesn't fix the problem. I know that you feel that these failures are a reflection on yourself. I know that you feel that there's really no point in actually even leaving this tent, let alone even the food. And I'm sure even if they are to bring the work to you, you're going to look at it and you're going to wonder what's even the point.
Now, there you're wrong. I will look at it and I will give them my best evaluation. But as far as I'm concerned, I am done with this fool's errand. I walked into the desert, a chest full of ideas, and when I leave it, I will be a broken man.
See, Ayden, that's the voice in my head too. I think men like us, intelligent men like us, who have drive, who have passion, who have these things, we are crippled by our own doubt, and when we even meet the smallest moment of failure, it causes us to crumble. And you haven't been met by small failures. You've been met by many. I also feel that you don't feel that your words of advice have been valued. And I think that's part of it. I know nothing I'm saying here is going to fix it for yourself, and even me saying that, I understand exactly how you feel. As I said, doctors are their own worst patients. I succumb to that voice. I can only hope that when you do look at whatever it is they bring, or when we do actually travel and you see the next ruins, the next discovery, that it will bring you back to that passion. Breathe life to that fire in your soul that is right now just dying embers.
Malcolm and Raya walk into the tent.
All right, Ayden, we have the documents for you.
All right, let me take a look at them. And Doctor,
he
thank you for your concern.
Malcolm sits down, pulls the documents back out of the roll that he has, and says, "You have yours as well?"
Yes.
If I see documents going over, I would like to be a part of that.
All right, so you step in as well. Truly, you don't feel that maybe in the light we would get a better view. The tent does not give much light.
Working among old abandoned ruins, sometimes you're not afforded the best in lighting conditions. You learn how to adapt.
Yes, but the option of the greater lighting is outside. Shouldn't we take advantage?
Mr. Malcolm.
It's Malcolm.
Malcolm.
Simply Malcolm.
I know it might be a little counterintuitive, but for the man's sake.
Yes, fine. So he's also looking through them.
So I'm going to take my lantern and light it, and really it's what do they call those? The bullseye. So I'm really fighting down the beam, so it's straight.
Right.
And I'm going to carefully scrutinize just every inch of the documents, as well as my own.
Now their documents are basically the same as yours. They are rubbings.
Right, but I'm going to, because maybe there's something a little different.
Ooh,
you
yeah.
know, somebody might have put an A instead of a C somewhere.
Yep.
So
Gotcha.
that's
So
what
go
I'm
ahead
looking
and
for.
give me your. Have we been using history? I believe.
Yes. Yeah, I could have a history ready to an intellect general knowledge test.
Very good. Let's do it.
So 14 plus my history, which is 2. So that'll be 16.
So 16. So between the two of you, you start making some headway in estimation. Now, nothing says X marks the spot.
Right.
But as you work through the next few hours, and it does get a little brighter in the tent, because of course outside it is getting to working towards midday and the sun being right overhead. Bit by bit, a number of the people who are normally in the tent will come in. The two Novus Dei will never end up coming in. But a few of the Bedouins will come in. Callahan will come in. I don't know about the two of you, Raya and Frankie, but it is getting to that stifling, scorching hot outside, and that ever-present pelting sand wind is strong here. You guys have noticed, as I've said before, that it ebbs and flows, but here you seem to be in the full brunt of it. So you guys start to get an idea. Between you, you kind of work through the different... Now, you seem to have a better knowledge of the Valley of Kings, of the different burials that have been dug up. You have that working knowledge. It does not appear that he has that working knowledge. He, oddly enough, seems to have what you would call just kind of an intuitive aspect to it. Because as you talk about, well, there's this and this and this, that doesn't click to him, but he'll tell you something and you kind of nod your head and say, yeah, well, where did you see that? And he'll say, well, I was looking at this and thought this. So, peculiar, but you've been around people that have had that. That's how a few of these different burials have been found. The two of you believe that if there is a dais and it's not in there, and you are not certain that it is not in that burial, you have a reasonable idea where it might be.
Okay.
So, as you guys talk, you come to the decision that maybe we should go in together and check the remainder of that tomb.
All right. That's what I'll recommend then.
Okay?
Okay.
So, who's going? It is the middle of the day. It is the hottest portion of the day. It's not like you have a long walk, but you guys will be very tired at the end of that walk, sweaty and hot. And there's no new water.
Ayden, would you like to go now, or do you want to go in the evening when it cools down?
We should go when it cools. Anything that's there can be found in a few hours.
Right? You were saying?
I just know I want to go.
Okay. So, as the day progresses, are any of the player characters not going?
That depends. But Wolf obviously is feeling fine enough. It's only a flesh wound now. The question is, who of the player characters isn't going? Because
That's
that
what
might
I just
also.
said.
I think we're all going.
We're
I
all
think
going.
you're all going, but
Yeah.
I'm asking, is anyone staying?
Well, I'm asking if any of the NPCs are staying. What like?
Oh,
which
yeah.
ones? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I'm more curious on
Two of
which.
the Bedouins will go with you for sure. It will probably be Bess and Ra.
All right, so Cal Marud will stay, which leaves whoever of the Novus Day and Billings.
One of the two Novus Day looks, as you guys are starting to get ready, looks like he is going. The other one does not look like he's going.
Then I think at least as long as it's like somewhat equitable between like our group and the other group, I
Cal
think
Marud,
Wolf
yeah.
will go.
Awesome.
Billings says,
If
where
I
are we
make
going?
if I may make a suggestion, limiting the group to as few as needed may be a better option. Less chance of someone triggering a trap for grave robbers. Also, less noise, confusion, and looking for details.
Well, we're leaving behind some of the Egyptians in Callahan.
Who would you like to accompany you, Ayden?
If it was me, Malcolm, and one of the doctors, and either you or Frankie, in case there's something down there.
I think that's your call, Ayden. Who are you going to take?
This is your team.
I will take Dr. Wright then.
I'm like actually surprised. Oh,
So your suggestion is you and Malcolm, Dr. Wright, and
I'll take Frankie as well.
Frankie.
Okay.
All right. And so, as I said, Arthur will say, "Oh, well, when are we leaving then?"
We will leave a little bit after the sun starts to go down.
So, yes,
I don't want to take my entire valise, so I'm gonna take that little like
mini valise
the
again?
little mini pouch. But there's one additional thing I'm taking. It's a syringe, and no, it's just one. Wait, is it just Malcolm coming, or one of his flunkies too?
he said he only wants Malcolm. Coming.
Okay,
No
cool.
one said anything beyond that yet.
So then I'll take two. I'm taking 2 doses of Strix with me.
Okay, very good. So
we
day
describe
progresses, and into the afternoon. Sorry.
No worries.
There you go. Into the afternoon, as the vast majority of you are in the tent, Cal lashes out verbally at someone, probably one of the Bedouins. No one would have been looking at Cal. There wouldn't have been a reason to. And Marud says, "You should go out." And Cal will walk out of the tent with Marud, and the two of them will leave. And you can hear Cal yelling, but very quickly disappearing, was complaining about but he was doing it purposefully and just continues out. And that yelling doesn't seem to get quieter, but it seems to get farther away.
Wolf is like eyes on this. Like he's not going to follow it. He's certain but he's keeping an ear out in case like there's screams.
Very good. Few more hours pass. Marood and Cal come back. Marood has a fairly good fist-shaped discoloration on the side on his cheek, on the right cheek.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, nothing. And
Yeah.
Cal comes in and sits down. Marood sits next to him.
When was the last time we saw Marood actually hurt?
You've seen him over the time. I mean, he does have the wash of scars, but not really like this, because this is so specific. You guys are fairly certain what happened.
Dr. Wolf,
Wolf is sorry, go ahead.
while we're here, with not a lot to do, would you mind taking a look at my leg?
Yes, I can do that for you.
I could euthanize that. I mean, heal that.
That's why I don't trust you to heal me. That's why I always go to Wolf.
That is an 8.
No, I can't do
That's
that.
18.
All right, so what's wrong with your leg?
That it got cut up by Frankie when he was in throat.
Okay, and what was the wound level?
I'm at a serious wound.
And it was with what weapon?
With his claws.
With Frankie's claws. Okay. So you are looking at it. So you're very confident about what made the wound.
Well,
You're
it's
not
it's
necessarily
true.
confident it was Frankie who made the wound, but you are very
I
confident.
know. This is the second time she's shown me. I've bandaged this up before.
bandaged it
Oh, okay.
as soon
Yeah,
as it
I know.
happened.
Yeah, so this is me just checking on the status of the healing
Very
at this
good.
point,
And
which
your
is
roll was?
18.
All right. Go ahead and give me, and because I don't know what else I would have it on, it probably would be medicine, but go ahead and give me an alchemy roll as well.
Alchemy. I'm gonna re-roll my free re-roll with that. Use my personal re-roll. Sorry. Okay. That is 15.
So with a 15, you think you are getting more confident that Raya is not having ill effects from the damage. You are not certain, just more confident.
It's been rumored that
It's-
deep enough throat scratches will turn a person.
It's true. It is true. So at the very least, it's like it's moving at a normal progress.
Yes, it's healing at a normal progress.
It's healing at a normal progress. It's pretty much where it is. The wound's clean. Everything's good. It's as he looks into it, and he does his typical thing. It's like to not quite rebandage it, but make sure it's still clean, keep it safe and stuff like that. It's like, well, I was worried that the stitches would have come loose, given the excitement last night, but it seems that they're holding well. The wound is healing as expected at this point in time. I have no concerns as long as we keep an eye on it and as long as we don't overexert it. I think we'll see.
I can make no
recovery.
promises, Doctor.
Given where we are and everything, I know there's no promises that we can kept. But please forgive a doctor for still giving medical advice.
So we're going when the sun is just crested over. So we still have some portion of the heat of the day, and we still have
Right.
some light.
But it's like, instead of like the 150, it's like
Yeah.
80 or 90.
Right,
type
and,
thing.
and the light will be very short.
Right.
So Malcolm asks, are we riding? I think it would be better if we left the animals here, but
I
it
figure
is
we
a
can
small
walk.
trek.
What's the distance away?
It's about 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's just like up the hill kind of thing.
On a camel, 15 minutes?
No, on a camel,
walking.
a few minutes.
In case we have to carry it, we should bring beasts of burden.
Yeah, why don't we get a camel then?
All right, so you
Based
go.
on what you told me of the previous diets, yeah, that might be a good idea.
So you go grab one of the camels.
I'll go grab it. Don't worry, and I'm gonna ride it.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure that there's extra rope on the camel.
All right. So
I'm gonna
Wright is on the camel.
I'm going over to the little scrub bush that was like down there, a little tree thing. you
There's
said
a lot
was
of
there.
The pea bush.
That's the pea bush. Sorry, you might want to go to the one next to it.
I'll go to the next one. I'm going to try to find a stick that's long enough to be kind of like a walking stick or stuff.
No, not going to find that here.
Not that?
Not that's going to be straight enough to be of any use, and probably not one that's going to be
We'll
long
just
enough
have
to anyway.
Billings stand really straight.
What if he moves that bush aside? Is there
no.
not one like magically? No.
No, and for all of you, you know, as you realize what he's looking for, in all the wood that they brought in, nothing would have been like that.
You know, if somebody has a cane that doesn't need it.
But,
Oh yeah, I haven't been using it.
No, you have not.
Wait,
You
what?
know.
Your legs hurt?
no, I'm just, when you look at me, I'm looking very,
Oh.
like, just...
So then I'll stop. I'll look at you. I'll say, "Oh, all right," and I'll go back to my horse or my camel.
You ride back.
So I ride back. I'll say, "Just a moment." Good camel.
It's not like they don't need
Yeah.
to they need to stop walking. It's
So
not like
as
they
I
catch
go, I'm gonna go ahead and so pick it up and do the few mechanical twists that I know that allows it to kind of break apart a little bit, showing the integral all of the inside galvanics, and I take out the battery pack because I don't want him to have the charge.
Stun something, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna put that in my little micro valise, in my
Carrying
little
it with
saddle
you.
bag. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll put it back together. I put the safety on for any residual charge, and then I'll go.
And it's also a sword cane, right?
No, it's just a
It's
stun cane.
just a
It's
stun
just
cane,
a stun cane.
All right, good.
And I'll zap it to make sure it doesn't do anything.
Right.
But, yeah.
Drain the last little bits and you ride back. So what I want to let you guys know is as you leave camp, you have Wright on camel. You have Frankie, you, Malcolm. There is one of the Novus Day going with you. Ra and Bess are going with you. And Arthur is walking with you.
Billings.
We should
my
put him
boy,
on a camel if he's coming.
My boy, go get a camel.
Certainly. And he goes back. Malcolm says, I'm fine. So it's a few minutes, but as you guys are walking, unless you wait for him, as you guys are walking, Billings will catch up with the camel that he's been riding.
Billings, just stay next to me.
Yeah, he walks right by you.
So then, yeah.
Okay. He'll talk to you a little bit on the walk. Nothing important, you know. Do you think we'll find it? If so, you know, do you think there's a chance it will be useful? Do you, that kind of stuff. He seems to, when he has discussions, fall into something that you talked about before, so that it's easy for him to dig it back. Mm-hmm. So you guys will come back to the specific burial mound, burial temple, and
I'm going to walk in. I'm going to keep an eye out for anything that would be...
so you're lighting the bullseye lantern.
Right.
Okay.
I'm going to head down and try to avoid the giant box of ickiness.
Well, that's all the way in at the end.
Okay.
So what you
no,
do
we
is-
had it outside, though. Or did somebody throw it back down?
Oh,
over
that's
there?
right. You guys brought it out.
Yeah.
I apologize. So, yeah, that's the sarcophagus. Well, the burial crypt component is there. You wouldn't have brought the stone sarcophagus out.
Right.
So, all right. So you guys pass around that. Now, at present, it looks like everybody is going to follow you. As you light the bullseye, you guys
He's
will notice
going
that
down.
Billings. You notice Billings is ready to go in. You'll notice that the man who came with Malcolm is ready to go in.
I would recommend that Billings and the... who was it? Bess and Raw?
Bess and Raw.
I recommend that Billings, Bess, and Raw would better be served staying here. But if you really have to come in...
So Arthur
Please be
kind of looks
careful.
amongst you and he says, but, I mean, the only way that I can sell it is if I have actually been there. And he seems really
The air
right
is
at
poison
this.
in there.
He looks at the rest of you and says, really?
Truly.
I'm just staring bullets at the tomb, because then I remembered, oh yeah, tomb diving is very claustrophobic.
I'm gonna point at like the mold box, and I'm gonna say that is in the air inside the cave.
Yes. Well, how are you going in? I have the same equipment as you. As he puts his mask up, which you don't, or which he's had his mask up, which you don't presently have up to my knowledge.
I'm stronger.
Yes. Well, of course, Frankie, of course.
Frankie's built
Well,
different.
while they talk to Billings, I'm going to walk over to Bess and Raw and say, don't touch it, but if you have time, could you perhaps cover the box inside?
My lungs are very strong. Yours, not so much.
No, I understand, but Dr. Wright, Ayden,
Aiden's on
Malcolm, again, when we rode, I far exceeded his capabilities with endurance upon the ponies.
If you die, we can't leave here. If he dies, nothing changes.
Well, Billings, and I'll try and break myself away, and I'll say, Billings, how about this? I'm looking at the tomb, and on second thought, perhaps maybe I shouldn't go, and maybe you would do better in there. But Frankie is correct. Now, and I'll ride up next to him, and I'll say, now, as a major shareholder in the company, is there a way you could write a writ that in case the worst happens, and I don't think it will, Billings, you're a strong lad, that just showing that I can get us back home so we can, take care of affairs.
He says, oh, don't worry about that. Mei-Ling has that in hand, and he turns away from me and says, Frankie, I believe I will be fine.
Malcolm's men are dead inside of there from the poison air.
Yes, mistakes were made. Please, let's go. And he seems to be pretty firm. I rolled two.
That's
20.
Yeah.
So,
So
you lead in with the bullseye.
Right. And I will start kind of searching.
Malcolm is going to grab one of the torches from the fire that went out. He's going to light it and bring that in. So there's a bit of that smoke.
I'll tell him actually leave the torch there at the back. The smoke and things could conceal things. The flickering flame.
I guess I understand that.
That is why I bring the
widen
lantern.
the
Yes.
angle on that? Okay. So as you go moving in, what was that?
Are there dead Novus Day out here?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
I definitely want to stay out here.
Ooh, no, I'm staying. I'm going in.
It's time to start reanimating. I'm just kidding.
All right, so going inside, the order is,
Me leading.
okay, and next.
I am not going to have a Novus Day at my back.
All right, so the other Novus Day appears to be going in. Unless you guys say something, it will be Malcolm, the other Novus Day, Arthur, and then you.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. So as you're going in, I assume that you're going to be reading everything down the wall through the first set of stairs.
I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to get the lantern really close and essentially look for any key blocks or hieroglyphics that seem similar to that on the two scripts we have.
Okay. So this is not fast by any
No.
means. This is going to be hours. And as it progresses into the first 15-20 minutes, Arthur just doesn't say a word and wanders out. Frankie, you will not understand it, but Ayden, you're going to hear Malcolm say, why don't you go bury our brethren? We're not getting anywhere quick, in French. So, Frankie, are you doing anything? Or are you just effectively kind of standing watch?
I'm touching all the walls, and I'm feeling for a hidden button.
So you're pushing things?
Oh, yes.
Okay. You will see that, and you know what Frankie's doing. There's not a question.
I've already found something really cool. And then there were bugs in it, but that was beside the point.
I'm just...
You're not saying a word?
Nope. That's just how my character feels. So.
Okay, so you kind of look and go, yep, okay, your funeral.
I'll get ready.
So Billings will come out. What are you
I was
doing?
going to say, though, I'll say one thing to Malcolm in French to say. My mentor had a saying he liked to say. You have three options. Fast, cheap, or well done. Choose one. When he makes that comment about we're taking too long type of thing.
Right. Well, you know that he said it to him, but
yeah.
He says, yes, I believe the time that it takes is the time that it takes.
All right, just wanted to
And he
make
says
sure.
that back to you in French.
All
so
right.
Frankie, they're talking in French, leaving you behind. So, Dr. Wright, what are you doing as
soon as they, and by they I mean the Novus Day, are in and away, I want to look around. So is there a dead Novus Day that looks like it's not in direct eye shot of the tomb entrance? The point is I'm trying to find a sword.
Without a doubt.
So I ride to that one.
All right, so it's a few maybe 100 feet or so.
That's
Are you still
fine.
riding?
That's
Good
fine.
doctor is going to check his pockets for a pulse.
So are you riding
Yes,
still?
riding,
Okay.
yeah.
I took
Very
this
good.
man's pulse.
So you ride over there and then
$50.
dismount.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
think we
dismount,
can save you.
go
So
over.
you can find a sword. That's not an issue at all. Nobody grabbed him.
That's fine. So I'll take the sword and I'll unbuckle his scabbard. And then does he have anything else on him?
So you're gonna loot
Yeah,
the body.
I'll check him.
Go ahead and give me a wits perception
I'm
roll.
just curious.
I don't know that we've looted a body this game.
I don't know that you have.
There's been times.
19.
A few times.
Okay.
It's got scorpions in him.
As you
Chock full.
So as you start pulling
what plants
things and
crave.
lifting things, something clicks in your head just short, and as you pull back, you see this spike,
Ah. Oh.
and
Booby trap.
a scorpion comes out from under one of the folds.
I'll say, well, son of a bitch.
Well, somebody better pick up that phone because I freaking called.
I'll say, oh, that's right. Things want to kill you out here. And so then I'll take the sword and kind of back away and then say, wait a minute, this is a scorpion. So I'll take the sword and I'll just,
Whack it.
yeah.
All right. Well,
It's a scorpion.
right. It takes nothing to
Yeah.
crack it. As you hit, it's not like it's quiet or
Yeah.
easy, and you will see more movement. Not thousands. You'll see maybe 2 more things move out of it.
Oh.
Now you are losing daylight quickly.
Yeah, so I'll say, okay, that's fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and just like kind of wipe the bottom of the sword, like
Sure.
get the gunk off, and I'll sheath it, and then I wanna strap it onto me.
Very
so
good.
beneath my garb. And
Go ahead and
everything.
make the mark that it's on you.
Cool.
Go ahead and write it
Really
down.
well.
Is there another body on the way back?
I think there are 4, 6. There are a number of bodies, and nobody took anything, and they all had swords. So if you're looking for another sword, no issue.
Okay.
There are other bodies, yes, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
No, actually.
In fact,
I'll
where
look for-
where people bled is still there's bloodlines out on the sand.
Oh wait, can I? Okay, Barry, I want to be a little sneak. So do they have capes on? Something like that. Why did I think
They
they
did. They
Wait,
did.
Are the tabards bland? Do they have symbols on it?
The tabards have the upside down cross. If you remember.
Okay, yes. Okay, no, there's nothing. There's not like packs or anything on the camels, right? That I could hide something. Like swords aren't gonna be hard to hide, but I mean not like hide, but like.
You're saying could you grab a tabard and hide it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
You could, for that matter, you could just put it under the
What's under the masks?
the rug, the camel's rug.
Oh yeah, cool. I want to get another one and do that.
Really
right.
surprised you
So you
haven't
lay it
tried
under.
to steal a
Very
mask
good.
yet.
And they all have masks on? Oh yeah. Sure, the one I take the tabard from, which is not the scorpion one, I'll
Right.
take the sword out and I'll just like kind of flip the mask off.
Okay, so it doesn't just come off, and as you look, it appears to be on there with some permanence. You're going to have to.
Okay, so I have 2 of them. So I take one sword, I jab it under the lip, and I kind of set it in there, and I just take my boot and just pop.
Go ahead and give me a vitality roll.
Is it glued?
This is gonna be nasty.
You're gonna peel
Oh
off
my
his
god,
face.
19.
All right.
This is going to be
So
horrible.
you hear that crack and that wrenching sound of bone being broken through, like breaking open a chicken. That kind of sound. You can get the mask to come off, but the head also pulls away. You have opened it up to where the interior rotting gases now has an ability to expel out, and the smell hits you, and you can hear a ways from you a yell in English. What are you doing? But you can tell it's a ways away.
Yeah, so I'll put the sword into the sand and kind of like try and
The head
dig it.
is not fully detached, but mostly detached.
And I'll step kind of over it, and as I do, I step with my like left and with my right, I kind of kick the head back into place as best as possible.
Okay.
I saw a scorpion. Don't worry, I got it.
And then I sheath one of the swords, the one that I just used, and just say, "Oh, just collecting these. Malcolm said they were of importance." And I'll hold one out.
All right.
Not the one that's hidden.
Right. Okay. So as he now kind of runs or jogs to you, I mean, he's in sand, slogs to you. He comes over. He says, "Well, yes, they do have importance," and he takes it from you, and he looks at the sword, and then he looks at the different bodies, and he puts it back with the one that you took it from. So you must assume there's some connection to it.
So I'll say, Billings, do you know much about these Novus
No, that's
Day?
not Billings.
Nope.
That's Novus Day.
Oh, that's the Novus Day.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I thought that both the Novus Day went in with him.
He did, but one came back out. He's the one came your way.
Shit.
Yep.
Oh boy, and I'll say, oh yes, very interesting. Okay, I'm gonna head back. If they're significant, I'll
Do you
leave
again mount the?
Yeah, then
camel?
I'll hop onto the camel and I'll head out of eye shot so that I can kind of rustle the sword into a place.
All right, so you're hiding. Now you're taking it off of being wrapped on you, and now hiding it onto the camel.
Yeah, so it's wrapped up in the tabard, and I'm trying to like hide it as best I
All right.
can.
So it's a little different. The tabard itself you could easily hide like under the blanket. It's not that thick. But wrapping it in the tabard and then hiding in the camel, I'm absolutely sure you can do that.
Yeah.
There's a chance they could scrutinize it.
That's fine, yeah.
You will hear Arthur talking to somebody, and the speaking will move, and you'll realize that Arthur's moving over to where they were at. And two things happen almost simultaneously. You hear Arthur say, "Oh, my word," and then you start seeing a green glow from that side.
I'm gonna camel over there.
So you're going to finish what you're doing, hop on the camel, and
Yeah.
ride over. Well, so as you get over there, the bodies are burning in this green flame.
Where did this green flame come from?
Arthur said, he did it. He had it come for. He's a djinn.
Oh wait, no, sorry. It's alchemy. Never mind. I just remembered what they came from. So
He says, no, I've read about it. It came from his hands. And the one who's doing it, you can see him now. He moves to the next one, and he is pouring something on them. But as he's pouring the flame, flame's green.
I'll go over and I'll talk to him and I'll say, "What is that? What is that compound?"
Greek fire.
I was about to say Greek fire.
Do I know how to make that?
Do you? I don't think so.
And I'll ask.
That's been lost to time.
I'll say, "Do you know how to make this?
He says, no, I don't know that anyone does.
Where did you find it?"
You can see he kind of tosses it over in his head. You're not sure what he's thinking. He says, one of the things Novus Day has access to. Very small amount. But we can't return the bodies.
Oh, well, I don't care about the bodies. They're
So you see Arthur is walking around them, looking at them. So the flames are around it, but this is not a boiling to the sky flame. It stays low, kind of like the little butane sticks, that kind of stuff. It kind of stays there, but stays green the entire time. Arthur is putting his hands out with it, and then putting his hands to his face, and then putting his hands out over it again. He doesn't do anything crazy like stick his hands into it, but he brings his hands fairly close to the fire, and then finally pulls them back.
Arthur, be careful. That is hot. Do you have any you'd be able to trade for? This would be fascinating to have.
If you were to ask Malcolm, mayhaps he might be willing to trade for something. I will be out of it before I'm done with the bodies. And you do see him shake the last bit, and he takes whatever it is that it's in, which could be a small bowl or a vial. It disappears into his robes, and he walks over and stops and turns to you and says, would you be willing to help me? I have 2 more to bring to the pile.
Yes.
So he says, I truly appreciate it. Gives you the hand signal to come with him.
Proud like, okay.
He takes the legs, and as you can see, his hands are in some kind of metal gloves.
The body does have the sword and everything on it?
Yep.
And do the other bodies, are they burning with their sword and everything on it?
As far as you can tell, now you know one of them is burning without a sword.
Yeah.
But the swords, it's like he didn't take the sword, like cross their arms, lay the sword down. He just literally lit them on fire where they were.
And I'll as we're going, I'll say, well, now why are you burning them with all the equipment?
Because they cannot return with us, and we do not want them to be food for whatever is here.
This one's sword. Might I have it so that I can defend myself with it?
Go ahead and give me a...
I would like a Holy Avenger, please, Barry. Or an Unholy Avenger, I don't care which.
Go ahead and give me a charm roll.
My worst stat, you say?
I think for everyone it is in this group.
It's a-
Maybe
Yes.
not Ayden.
I'll use my last reroll because I really want this.
It's a scientific
That's worse.
Avenger. So
My best one's 14.
So he says, it is not my call. Malcolm could allow it, but you haven't earned it.
So what does it take to earn one of these? If it's...
And all he does is put his finger to his mask, and you hear clink, clink, clink.
Say...
You would take the oath. As a respected doctor, you would be welcome within Novus Day.
And I would need one of those.
You would need to take the oath. This is a part of that.
Okay, and thinking about what I just saw, oh, that's not gonna happen.
But what he does is you get close, is you watch him unbuckle the sword belt. He takes it off. He pulls the belt from the scabbard, lays the scabbard down, and then says, "On 3, please." Lays the belt back on the person, and you guys 1, 2, 3 onto the pile. Would you help me with the last? And he's left the sword away from the flame.
Away from that. Okay, cool. So then, yeah, I'll help him with
You'll
the
notice
last
that
one.
Billings is moved around the fire, and he's doing things like, nothing particularly childish, but childish in general. He's tossed a stick in there. You see that he throws sand into it.
I do the same.
Yep, he seems to be messing with it, and as you're walking away, you'll notice again, he puts his, doesn't put his hands into it, put his hands over it, and finally pulls his hands back, removes them. You're guessing it's too hot. You get the other one lifted up, and he goes to lift, and then you see him hitting the leg with his greaves.
And by the way, if it was, I let him pick it up first each time after the first one.
Yep.
So then,
well, he's picking up legs, so you're picking up basically shoulders.
Yeah, and I'll say, is something wrong?
Scorpions. Be careful.
And then I'll kick it. I'm gonna move him a little bit with my third. And I go to kick it and then stop, thinking, okay, fine.
And you just kind of lift it with your foot. So you guys carry the last one and throw it onto the pile. Billings is looking. You'll see him very nonchalant take the thing that held what he called Greek fire and just toss it right onto the flames. There's a slight bit of increase, and then it just burns. What you can see is it was a small, you're guessing, clay pot, maybe 2 to 2.5 inches in diameter, maybe 2 or 3 inches in depth, but he threw it right onto the flames. It's in the middle of it. And Billings says, "Doctor, this is like nothing I've ever seen."
Yeah, Billings, I have to agree. It would be very interesting to know how it was made, but I would need a sample of it.
I know that there was a man, and he starts giving you a whole Penny Dreadful story of somebody who had found Greek fire, was able to figure out its inner workings, and it's more of a, oh God, I was going to say Oedipus, that's not who I meant. It is more of an Icarus story than anything else. So you guys can sit and watch. He does. You guys can sit and watch as the body burn, and they will burn and burn and burn until they are ash. You don't see things peel away, fly away. As it burns down, it starts to, there's less and less and less, but wherever it is burned when it's crumbling is now ash.
It's burning metal. It's burning everything.
Everything.
Barry, that reminded me of this awesome Oedipus King Midas joke.
Oh, God.
It was motherfucking gold.
Yeah. So, a few hours pass, and you guys have worked through. Frankie, go ahead and give me a charm roll.
7.
7. Okay. So in this, because there's not a whole lot you can do, and I don't envision you being dumb. You're not slapping your hands everywhere. You're kind of feeling around, seeing if you can figure anything.
Knocking on stuff.
Yeah, you find spaces that have different sounds, possibly hollow behind the stone, but not hollow to where you're like, oh, I'm gonna break this. Just sounds different spots. But you've moved around. They have moved. In basically the first hour, they've moved all of about maybe 4 inches farther, and the two of them seem to be equally engrossed. Every so often, they will talk amongst them between the two of them, and he'll initially start talking with you in French, Ayden, if you want to maintain it.
I tell him whatever's more comfortable for him.
He will tell you. He says, "I think if you are confident in my language, it's probably easier as I ask questions."
All right.
So, 3 hours pass. You guys have made it down the hallway. You don't have a good idea. Made it down the hallway, down the stairs. You now go into the first room, which is where the sarcophagus was. As you bring that in, and as you guys go in, you are going to hear somebody is coming into the upper chamber.
Okay. So I'm gonna go stand over there and see.
Okay. You don't have light except for the backlight, but fairly quickly you realize it must be Billings from the way the walk is. And he comes into view. He says, "Wonderful.
Has he got his mask on?
Billings, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He says, "Are you not going in, Frankie?"
Just seeing who's coming.
After you then. So, are you going to do the same thing in here?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you move around in here, again, the same thing. Nothing that you think moves or twists or anything like that. There are stones with different sounds behind them, but nothing where you instantaneously think, if I put my fist through it, it's going to break and there will be something behind it.
Is there anything like on the floor around the sarcophagus, like groove marks or like anything kind of like that?
It does look like something was brought on, maybe on rails or on boards or on rods into here, but the rods end at walls and they end just before, not under the wall. So you're thinking, oh, it went under here. You're assuming that it was something to create possibly a plumb or a level to create either uprights or straights, with the idea of you wanted this thing to be fairly level so that water would run out of it and not flood it.
Okay.
I mean, water doesn't come down in Egypt very often, but when it does, it can be a real problem because we're not used to having water. So, as you guys finish a 4th hour in here, you both have been combing it. You're using the one light, so there's not the ability to spread. Go ahead and give me your roll, or your history roll.
Do I have any bonuses? Other bonuses for
No,
meticulous or
but you're
anything?
getting the bonus you got. Malcolm, I'm just going to tell you from his roll, is not going to give any additional to what you're doing.
Oh, nice. Hot diggity dog. So that's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 total.
Okay, with a 23 total, that is pretty substantial. You are so far ahead of Malcolm that I'm going to say this. You have a possible idea where you might go. Do you share it with him or not? Like, you realize connecting this with some of the things you read, maybe you have an idea. You can draw his attention to it or move past it because you guys are not, it's not like you guys are reading the same sentence together. He's reading a sentence on the right page, you're reading a sentence on the left page, that type of thing.
Yeah, I'll tell him what it is.
He says, yes, I agree with your thoughts. That makes good sense. And now you guys start discussing where that might be. And you're thinking, potentially, it is the tomb of the wife of... You're thinking this is supposed to be but again, now that you've been in here, you've had a chance to look at the disfiguring that was done by someone. The things that were said in here, you're not 100% sure that this tomb was originally planned for Right. You're wondering if maybe he took it over.
Okay.
All right, just from what you can read in here. But you guys have a decent idea. You're not going to be able to find it in the night. Do you guys go back to camp?
Yeah.
Okay. So, back at camp, and everyone comes back with you.
Real quick.
Yep.
Is there anything I could turn into a staff in here? Like old wood or something?
The very little bit of timbers that are here are on that... Sorry, on the crypt that's outside.
Okay.
You probably are not going to want to play with it.
Okay. Cool.
So, you guys head back.
One quick thing on the
Yes.
back, just before they get back, because I don't want to
Yes, we got plenty of time.
don't want to have too much back and forth. If you just
Yep.
want to get everyone back together. I would have offered Marud at least a salve for the swelling and
He will
stuff like
take
that.
it.
Yeah,
He
so
won't
cool.
say anything to you,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he will take it.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
help apply that on him. And when, offense Raya, but for doctor-client confidentiality with, I'm going to take a slight glance at Cal. Does it look like Cal's attire has stretched, maybe split in a few places? I'm trying to determine whether or not he...
Go ahead and give me a wits perception roll.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to make sure whether or not he's gone through the transformation or not. That'll be 14.
You suspect that if it was not a full transformation, it was some level. You think that something happened. I mean, and you're connecting a lot of dots, not just that. I mean, he got upset. Quickly, Marud took him out. They went away. You've not seen Marud struck before, and unless they got in a fight over there, which is possible, with something else, either he hit himself or Cal hit him.
Yeah, but there is a moment where it's like how he observes this for a moment, and very low tone, he does ask, "I'm sorry to ask, but I just have to be sure." Cal.
You're gonna ask Cal this, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Cal. I'm sorry to ask, but I just need to be sure because it's the difference between whether or not this could be a continuing problem or it's been resolved. Was there did you change?
So Cal looks at Marud. Marud looks back at Cal, and then Marud says, "Yes."
How long was he changed?
Maybe 40 minutes.
And Wolf nods. It goes, "Unless there's something particular about that batch, I think it should have cleared through your system. But just be cautious."
I am, and I appreciate that Marud was able to take me out of here, was aware of it more than I was. So the group comes back into camp. You guys will again go for the night. Are we doing the same 2 watches? Because neither of you has taken rest, so you will potentially feel the effect tomorrow night.
Yeah.
On the way back, I'll talk to Malcolm to see if there's any...
So you're riding with them?
Yeah.
Okay. Ask Malcolm.
Malcolm, as I was helping your companion there with with your companions or your ex-companions. Oh, this is bad. I was inquiring about, I mentioned the other day a sword, and I mentioned that you have some extras about having some extra protection for myself, and your man there said that the only way that I could acquire one would be through taking an oath of some kind.
So Malcolm will look at the one who came with him, and then he will look at you. He says, "Without the belt, Doctor, you are welcome to it. If my man left it out of the flames, that is fine. You are welcome to it." What he was speaking of was the ritual, where you take a binding oath to join Novus Dei. We would welcome you, Doctor, in our midst.
Well, I will keep that in mind. Malcolm, I truly appreciate, though, the gesture of giving me one of these. As you said, they were special.
Did you ask him when you came out, or did you ask him as you guys were coming back?
As we were coming back.
Okay, so you know that the sword is
wait.
back over there.
Oh, I thought they brought them.
Nope.
Oh, then...
You're going to ride back and
yeah,
get the sword?
Back and grab it. I'll grab it, yeah.
All right,
ride
so
back.
you're like, "Oh, thanks," and turn the camel around and go riding?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and you grab the sword and ride back. So the burn pile, or whatever you want to call it, it is just blackened sand. There is nothing in there of any large physical note. There might be a couple of bone chips, possibly. Maybe a small plunk of metal here and there.
I need to get my hands on some of that. So I'll grab
There's no one here.
Take a sample. Oh wait, I didn't bring my valise. I don't have any extra vials unless...
You're just holding your hand for a while.
You just
down of laudanum and...
just like, hold on a moment, you take the vial full of the meth. Sorry.
Oh.
That's not how you didn't take meth.
No, I don't have anything. I don't think there's anything that I want to get rid of. So yeah, I'll just take the sword. I'll strap it on
Okay.
me and.
How are you strapping it to you?
No, sorry.
Uh-huh.
I guess I'm just holding it very.
All right. And you guys come back in. So we'll leave the same 2 people on for the night. The next day, potentially in the evening, if the 2 of you don't take a daytime rest, there may be an effect. We pass through the night with no changes. The 3 of the Novus Day will sleep again by the fire. They will spend a portion of the time, and you'll notice, actually, I take it back. The 1 Novus Day that stayed, you'll see that there is some wood piled up there, and you're guessing that what happened is other people had helped, because it looks like more than 1 person would be able to bring back. The next day...
When I wake Frankie up for his watch, I want to ask him, what did you see down in the tomb?
Not much.
How did Ayden do down there? Did he find anything? Did he find where he thinks we're supposed to go?
Honestly, Frankie wouldn't have asked. I don't know. They were talking a lot in another language. I'm not sure what was said.
Okay. You know, I'm not trying to be the leader of this group, but we don't seem to be going anywhere, and no one seems to be making decisions. And I kind of felt like I had to make
Better you than the
decisions
rest.
for us. And I don't like being in that position, but I feel like I have to be.
Well, Raya, when it is you and I, there is very much a leader, and it's not myself. I think you are skilled at battle. This is, in a sense, a very stretched out, long...
Battle.
Yes.
I keep thinking about what Dr. Wright said when we were arguing the other day, and I think he was maybe a little correct. Maybe the reason that I rush into battle all the time and do reckless things is because I really do want to die. Maybe I'm trying to hasten my death.
Frankie will, like, sit up and, like, really look at you then. And I think that, as you know, that is the greatest sin possible.
I
And-
don't want my reckless behavior at wanting to go into France and help these people put anyone else in danger. Put anyone else in danger who can't defend themselves and others like I can. If it's my own life lost, then so be it, but
I think that Dr. Wright is wicked, and if he dies, it would be no great loss. Dr. Wolf is a good man, and I think he will come with us because he's a good man. We know that he's less killable than others.
indeed.
I do not know if Ayden will come with us. I think he will because of the interest, but he's also proven not to die easily.
Ayden's very useful.
Billings, we will have to work very hard to keep alive. Maybe we can leave him on the airship.
Hopefully we can convince him to stay. I don't think he's up for the rigors of what it sounds like where we're going.
We could just tie him to something. Or lock him somewhere. I don't think anyone who's going, aside from Billings, doesn't know what they're walking into. I think that the feeling you have probably is common among our group. We will have to watch out for each other.
I know you always have my back. And then I'll go in the tent and go to sleep.
Okay. So go ahead and give me a wits perception roll. Frankie, go ahead and give me a wits perception roll. Not identical to last night, but Malcolm again gets up, walks out, goes to the bathroom.
Did you want me to make that roll too?
I do.
7.
Okay.
Everything's fine.
I'm like very emotional.
Very fine here, Frankie. Thank you. How are you?
Sorry, communication error. How are you guys?
I'm very bored.
15.
It's been very boring 2
15,
days.
okay. So Frankie, he comes back maybe 6 minutes later. He comes back almost alongside the tent. As he comes in, he makes a show of looking around, doesn't necessarily look like he's looking for you, but looks around and eventually lands on where he was laying down, walks back over there and lays down. He only does it once during the evening.
Yeah, I mean...
Okay. And it is the next morning. So at this point now, as you guys are starting to get up, again, when you were traveling, it was good to travel in the evening when it was cooler. Since you guys are doing work, it's probably in general a better idea to do work at the times where it's not too hot. And as everyone starts getting up, Malcolm says, Ayden, do you think we should go in the early part of the day, get ourselves situated at the tomb?
Yes.
Okay. So quickly he says something in French to the other two, and they're already starting to break down their roles, put them on the horses. Do you say anything?
Yeah, I'll tell them we think we have a location, so we should start breaking down everything and get ready to move.
And you also tell the Bedouins?
Yeah.
So they will start moving. Zosser is moving a little bit better now. Not quite as slow, although he still seems to do things where he'll reach for something and realize he's overreached and very slowly bring his arm back and then won't do anything for a few hours. But camp breakdown does not take long. You guys are out and moving. Maybe an hour and a half's time, you guys will set up camp in a new area. This area, you'll notice that a number of the burial tombs are opened. Quite a few of them actually have the sand removed, so where you guys set up camp gets a little bit of reprieve from the sun by a few of the standing columns. So you'll have that benefit for a while. Of course, the sun moves, and eventually it will not benefit you. And you can move in the later evening. You guys can move the camp around to the opposite side so that you're at least getting a little bit more time out of the sun. For all of you, other than the Great Pyramids, which are staggering to you, this is probably the most amazing stuff that you've seen. The areas that are uncovered, there's statuary here that's still in standing complete shape. There are some of the obelisks that still stand. The actual burial mounds themselves have exterior carvings on them. Almost all of any kind of paint is off there. You might find chips that are 1 to 2 inches in size of different colors, but the vast majority has been stripped by the constant blowing sand. In the evening, are you and Malcolm intending to go in?
Yep.
Arthur's going to want to go with you again. Is anyone else going to? This time you're going to be walking very short distance out of camp, or where the camp is set.
I'll go with them. I want to see, like, if the tomb looks, and I know it's probably not, if it looks like it's big enough that I'm not going to freak out, then I might go in, but I'll at least go because I need to see some of it.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I want to see inside.
I think Wolf's kind of curious.
All right, so Frankie and Wolf will go.
Yeah, I'll go too.
Okay. All right. So all the player characters plus Billings and Malcolm and one of his men. The rest are staying there. You guys head up. Ayden starts figuring out which one. Every so often, as you kind of think, well, could it be this, could be this, you'll ask Malcolm. You'll realize that Malcolm has a limited understanding of here. He seems to be, and this you realized in the last one, he seems to be more intuitive than direct study finding things. But you guys do find the tomb that you think it might be in. You guys head in. Go ahead. Yes?
I'm going to head in, but I have claustrophobia.
Right. And that's my next step.
Okay.
So, Ayden, I'm assuming again you're lighting the lantern and you're going in first.
Yep.
Who is going? How is the order? So it's Ayden followed by.
I'm in the back.
Okay.
Probably Malcolm.
All right. So I'm going to put Malcolm, his second again.
I'll be behind them.
Okay.
I'll be behind Raya.
So Raya, Wolf, followed by Billings.
Oh, wait a minute. Actually, I want Billings in the very back and me in between Billings and whoever's in front of me. Basically, I don't want to be in the very back because if something attacks the
Right.
back.
Okay. So
I'd like to
then
be in the
Wright
very back.
followed by Frankie at the far back.
Okay, fine.
So I have Ayden, Malcolm, Pierre, Raya, Wolf, Billings, Wright, and Frankie.
Ah,
in that order.
Pierre, yes.
So
Damn it, you named
Ayden,
him.
go ahead and give me a wits perception roll. Raya and Frankie, give me a wits perception roll at -3. Dr. right.
I grab a torch if they're available.
There is not.
What do we use for light?
No, I have
You have-
candles.
You have one. Do you have candles? So you
Yeah.
can give him a candle. Okay.
Okay, fine. Then I grab my lantern.
Oh, well then perfect. Yeah. I didn't know anyone still had a lantern with oil. Because remember, almost all the oil was poured onto Dr. Wolf. There should not be a lot of oil left.
I have my lantern, so maybe whatever's
Maybe you're
left
using
in
a
there.
candle? You might be using a candle.
Yeah.
19.
Okay, 19?
12.
12. All right.
Am I giving one too?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a Wisp Perception at -5. Ayden, what was yours?
I actually got 2 10s, and it would make it at 23, but -2 is 21.
Do you
Very
just
good.
like stop, punch the wall, and that's the secret?
Just like,
Oh, I got -1.
All right. And Dr. Wolf, you will also be at a -5.
Okay, totally fine.
You better get -2 or less.
Well, that's not what I got. I got 5. No, actually, wait. Let me add 8 total.
8. All right. So as you guys are going in, I'm assuming that if you choose to talk, you're talking. This is not a silent walk in. So Ayden, you will not be talking at the front as you're moving in, and you are shining that light back and forth. You're in the first chamber. You come to the door of the second chamber, and you hear, and the only other person that's going to hear it to identify it is Raya. The rest of you are either talking or are not aware of it. You'll hear the which is the distinctive sound of ghouls.
Oh, no.
And we'll stop right there.
Ghouls.
Thank you for listening to another NCRP Productions podcast. To stay on top of everything we're doing, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and like us on Facebook, all at NCRP Productions. You can show your support and help us continue to produce content by joining our Patreon. We offer additional podcasts like our B-Sides and have GM materials, maps, and other fun things you can discover over time. You can find our podcasts on YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google, and many other fine podcast sites. Just look for us at NCRP Productions. We value your thoughts, so please don't hesitate to leave us feedback or comments. And if you would like to contact us directly, you can email us at ncrpproductions@gmail.com.